Hey everybody, it is your boy NCOSO7 here, and welcome to another review video. So today, I'm going to be reviewing Sonic Frontiers. Now, this is the big new Sonic game that everyone's been talking about, and I think it's time I make a video on it. So, let's go right into this. Now, I played this game specifically on the PS5, so that way I would hopefully have the best performance, the best visual, you know what I mean. So, keep that in mind. It may vary depending on versions. I'm not sure what other versions are like. I'd assume the Switch version is probably the worst version, but I don't know. I don't know that for certain. But regardless, let's go right into this review. And it may be a bit of a lengthier one. Maybe. I don't know. I'll say that and it'll be 7 minutes. But let's start off with the presentation now. This Sonic game is not like the other Sonic games. Whereas the previous 3D Sonic games were more so based around the boost formula, where basically you'd get the stuff that allows you to boost through stages, and it was pretty linear for games like Sonic Colors, Sonic Generations, and Sonic Forces. While those games were all linear and whatnot in design, Sonic Frontiers takes a different format and makes it more of an open world experience where you can run around these huge worlds. I mean, there's like 5 different worlds that you can run around. It's all open, and while yes, there is obviously stuff for you to do to like progress in the game, there's stuff you gotta check out, you can go at it at your own pace. You can like just take time to explore the world. Like, I've spent a lot of time just running around the worlds, not doing much, not even really paying attention to the story at all. I'm just running around doing whatever. And that's really, really solid, because for an open world game, and this is something that I'm not going to really talk about too much here, but a lot of open world games can feel rather empty, but I think Sonic Frontiers does an alright job at it, but I'm not going to get into it too much right now just because gameplay, that's a gameplay thing, but still, Sonic Frontiers has a really cool idea. It's definitely about time that Sonic Team made something a little bit different, because obviously Forces was so short of a game that I don't really feel like they wanted to do the boost formula, so I'm very glad that they went for a much more effort approach. They put more effort into it, and I really do think that it's a really cool idea, especially having Sonic in an open world. It's just kind of cool to see him go from place to place so fast. And of course, the performance of the game, and the visuals, and the art, and all that jazz. Honestly, this game is freaking gorgeous. I don't have anything to really say about it, though. One thing you may have seen in the footage is that there is a lot of popping. So, while the entire, the world, the mountains and all that stuff, and, the grass and all that stuff, is rendered properly, all of the platforms that you jump on and whatnot that are, kind of just suspended in the air, pop in, very late, so it's kind of noticeable, and it's kind of weird. When you look at, The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, when you go around the world, it's not like you have a bunch of these just random platforms hanging around. It is a little bit odd looking compared to the rest of the game to see all these gorgeous mountains that are just so beautiful, and then you just have these lines and platforms that look like they came from a Mario game. It's a little weird, but it's not it's not even that big of a deal. It's really not that big of an issue. It's really solid though. And yeah, presentation-wise, this game is really solid. And then moving on to the story, I'm not going to go too much into the story, but basically, Sonic and his friends get trapped into this new world in these weird islands. They get split up among the various islands. There's 5 different islands, and you go through this thing called cyberspace, which is kind of like this Matrix-like thing that contains levels from the previous games. And you basically have to go save your friends and take down all these big titans, as they're called, which are basically these ridiculously, they're basically Colossuses from Shadow of the Colossus, basically. But yeah, really the story in this game isn't really the best in my opinion. It's not crazy or anything, but I still think it's quite good. But it's whatever though. But what really matters is the gameplay, which Sonic games are very hit or miss when it comes to this. So, how does Sonic Frontiers play? It plays solidly. I mean, like I said before, it's an open world game, so you got a huge world that you can explore, or worlds in this case. But there is plenty of stuff to do in the world, though not as much as I would like. I kind of wish that there was a little bit more to do, because most of the time it comes down to finding treasure chest, finding doing this challenge, that way you can open part of the map, maybe fighting the bigger robot guy, or maybe just advancing the story, or every now and then going into the cyberspace levels, which we'll get to that in a little bit. But really, I do kind of wish that they had a little bit more to do, and even like just some more mini game stuff. Now, there are mini games in the game, like through the main story, because when you talk to like the characters are saving, sometimes you have to do like various things, like carry certain like balls or whatever to like Knuckles, or like get all of the grass cut for Amy or something like that. And these parts of the like main story, they're not bad by any means, but I kind of wish that they weren't part of the main story. I kind of wish that there was things you could find on like the overworld and like do them if you want to. I don't know. It's just kind of weird sometimes. And some of them are kind of, I don't know. They're fine enough, but I just wish that they kind of actually scattered them out across the worlds. I would have preferred that, honestly. And what about the cyberspace levels? Because basically the cyberspace levels take the place of like the normal traditional Sonic levels that we've seen in the previous games. Because you'll basically go through these short levels that are similar to that, like Green Hill Zone, Chemical Plant Zone, Sky Sanctuary, and so on and so forth. Though I've only really seen Green Hill, Chemical Plant, and Sky Sanctuary. I'm assuming there's more later, but yeah, you go through like shortened segments of those, and those are kind of fun. But I'll get more into those a little bit later, because I do have one issue with the game, but that's not for this section. But really, gameplay-wise, it's not too bad. Like, you have a plot to explore, and the fighting in this game is rather solid. You got like a skill tree and whatnot, so you can learn various types of moves throughout the game. So yeah, really not a whole lot to say other than it's pretty solid, honestly. It's not perfect by any means, but I still think it's all right. I think it's good. I won't say it's as good as Generations, but it's still pretty solid though, regardless. So gameplay wise, it's pretty good. Now moving on to the controls, and this is where I get into some more issues sort of stuff. So I don't think the game controls badly by any means, but it can be a bit jank sometimes, especially early in the game. Like, going back to the cyberspace levels, early on in the game, even using the boost, Sonic goes so slow. I don't know why. There is, like, you can increase your speed and whatnot through, like, collecting various, like, NPC characters and whatnot, but, like, oh my god, like, you go so slow. There are many times where, like, and, like, in my mind, when I go through the cyberspace levels, I'm just thinking I play it like Generations, because I'll just say it's Generations, it's my favorite Sonic game, spoiler alert, but I play it like it's Generations, and then I get really thrown off when Sonic goes so slow. There was one time, and it was like one of the first two levels, where I couldn't even make it all around the loop-de-loop. I had to like go up it part way and then fall off to the other side, because I didn't have enough speed. And sometimes when you're using the boost, it'll just go away for no reason. Like, not even in the sense that you run out of boost, but the fact that you can just hold down R2, and it'll eventually just go away if you hit something the wrong way. It's really weird. I don't like that. And I also feel like the game, it's better when you get further in the game though. When you're able to level this stuff up, it is a lot better and it isn't as bad. But even so though, don't be surprised if at the very beginning of the game, you're really taken aback by how slow Sonic is. At least for me. I thought he would have been a little faster, but still. And then there is one other complaint I have. So there's one move in the game where I believe it's called the Cyclone or Cycloop or something like that attack. Basically, Sonic goes into like a circle, or really any shape he wants, like using these lines, and he can jump up. The problem is, in order to create this line, you have to press and hold triangle, go in like the circle and whatnot, and then move your thumb all the way down to the X button to jump, so you can actually like search the area. I don't like that, because on PlayStation with triangle and X, they're like on opposite continents of each other. It's really annoying. It's a very big jump for my thumb to make. I'd usually have to use like my index finger to hold the triangle button, while as my thumb just holds on the X button so that way I can be ready for it. I don't personally like it. I wish they just used like R1 or something like that. I would have preferred that, but even so, I'm going on about the controls for quite a while. It is a bit of an issue in my opinion. I do think the game could have controlled better, but even so, it's not like the worst thing in the world. Now moving on to the content. Now, I paid $60 for this game, which in hindsight was not the best idea because Black Friday's around the corner, and of course the game got a deal on it. It was a bad idea, but even so, for $60, you get quite a bit of playtime experience out of it. It's like 20 hours to beat the game, so I'd say that's pretty solid. And there's plenty of stuff to collect and do, so it's like, really, content-wise, it's perfectly good. It's way better than Sonic Forces, I'll tell you that. And then finally, the music. I don't really have to say too much on it other than it's really good. I do kind of wish the overworld had some more in-your-face music. It kind of goes for more ambiance music, which I guess makes sense, but even so, Sonic games are known for their music, and when the music does come in, it comes in real good. But for the most part, at least on the overworld, it's kind of subdued and kind of just existent, I guess you could say. But really, yeah, the music's still good. But finally moving on to the final thoughts on this game. Now, I won't deny that I thought people were getting way too excited for this game before it came out. I thought people were getting a little too optimistic considering Sonic's track record, but was actually rather surprised to find out that the game is actually not too bad. Don't get me wrong, I do have some issues with this game, like the controls and whatnot, and that I think they could have done more with the open worlds in terms of what you can do. But even so, it's still miles better than that of like the previous like Sonic. It was like Sonic Forces and Sonic Boom. It like blows those out of the water. It's really, really solid. Now, is this my favorite Sonic game? Again, no. My favorite Sonic game is Generations. But even so, Sonic Frontiers is a really solid game. It's very different too, so I would easily recommend this game to anyone. Even if you're not someone who plays a lot of Sonic games like I used to be a while ago, I would recommend playing it. Give it a try and see what you think of it. And hey, you can usually get the game for like $60 less anyway, since even like a couple weeks after release, Black Friday deals. Sorry, but still, Sonic Frontiers is a really solid game, and on my scale of 0 to 10, I give Sonic Frontiers a solid 7.5 out of 10. I do think that this game is really solid and that I recommend it, but it is not perfect. It is not the best game that's come out in 2022, in my opinion. But I'm very glad to see Sonic Team actually put in some effort. Even if the game isn't perfect, I'm really glad that they just put in effort into this game. It didn't feel like they did it on the night before the deadline. They actually took time, and I appreciate that. I really hope that this can continue. Maybe we can even get a Frontier sequel soon. That'd be kind of cool. I know it's very early for that, but I'd personally get it. I would like to play a sequel. But that's pretty much all I have to say. What are your thoughts? Let me know what you guys think of this game down in the comment section below. And if you want to see more Sonic videos, hit the like button and subscribe. Although I don't really know how many more Sonic videos I'll make. Maybe I'll play through one of the games before the end of the year. I don't know. We'll see. Maybe I can get to Sonic Adventure. We'll see. But anyways, thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Peace out and take care.